What's good, everyone? Welcome to the Rabbits Take YouTube channel. Today we got a good one for you. Top 10 draft sleepers for the 2022 NFL Draft. It's going to be a good one. Settle in. Let's get into this. All right, first up, we got Carson Strong, quarterback out of Nevada. All right, I just don't understand why this guy isn't being mocked higher. I mean, in a lackluster quarterback class, this guy's got a massive arm, throws a great touch down the field. He's got the best deep ball in this entire class, just drops it from a helicopter, great accuracy down the field, throws with anticipation, processes information really quickly, and, the leg issue is a serious issue. If I'm running an NFL team and doctors say, he's going to have issues with the cartilage in his knee for a long time, as far as a long-term investment goes, it's probably not a great idea. If that happens, I'll take him in the third round, fourth round. That's a serious issue. But, when I look at his tape, I mean, it's the best tape in this class by far. He's big. He moves in the pocket well. He's not going to create outside the pocket, but man, he can maneuver within the pocket, deliver strikes down the field. And, that's what you want from a NFL quarterback. To me, that's what Matt Ryan is. That's what Kirk Cousins is. That's a very valuable thing in the NFL, having a guy that can, Nick Foles won a Super Bowl with that kind of thing. Nick Foles was one of those guys that had a really accurate deep ball with touch. I mean, this guy's one of those guys. And, he's got the big arm. He fits balls into windows that, he has no business hitting. And, when I look at his film, I see top 15 pick. With that leg issue, maybe you don't risk trading up for him, risking, giving up 2-3 first rounders for him. But, if he falls to you, if I was there, if I was Washington at 11 and he fell to me, I would take him. I mean, no question. I mean, he is number 2. He's the number 2 quarterback on my QB rankings right now. Malik Willis is number 1. But right now, the Draft Network has him ranked as the 80th overall prospect, which is a third-round pick. And I just, unless there's something about that leg injury, I don't know. I just don't get it. He played in an air raid offense, and that's very college-y. You're not really going to see a whole lot of that kind of stuff in the NFL. But, I mean, the air raid uses a ton of NFL-like concepts too. It's just the biggest thing with the air raid is that it doesn't have the same footwork as most NFL teams use under center. And, in the NFL, most offenses link the timing with the footwork to the routes, whereas the air raid, it's just, read the defense and go. So, he's going to have to make that kind of adjustment. But, this is a guy that I have a first-round grade on, and nobody seems to agree with me on that, and I don't understand it. But I think someone's going to get a massive steal here, probably in the second round. I mean, a lot of the buzz is saying third round right now, but I really think he deserves a second-round pick. Next up, Carson Strong's wide receiver, his favorite wide receiver, Romeo Doubs. All right, now, like Strong, Doubs, coming off of an injury. Right now, the Draft Network has him ranked 154th on their big board, which is a fifth-round pick. When I watch his film, I mean, it doesn't look like a fifth-round pick. I mean, he's 6'2". He's a legitimate deep threat. He's got pretty darn good long speed on film. He's got good hands. He knows how to, he has good ball skills. He can track the ball in the air down the field. And he can play wherever you want him to. He can run fades from the slot. He can play, he's big enough to play X. He can play Z. He's a good enough route runner for that. Is he going to be, a number 1 receiver in the NFL? Probably not. But, this guy is a guy that sticks on rosters because he can do a lot of stuff. He's tough in the run game. He can do a lot of stuff really well, and he's the type of player that sticks on rosters. Like Carson Strong, I don't know how he's progressing with his injury, and that's definitely something that if I was a GM of an NFL franchise, I'd be checking in with my medical team. But, just based on the film, Romeo Dubs looks like a third, fourth round receiver to me and a potential day one starter. I don't get why he's so far down the list. I think he's going to be a steal. I mean, there's just so many wide receivers in this draft class, too. He's probably going to end up going in the fifth round, and he's going to be a real steal. Number 3, we got Drake Jackson, edge rusher out of USC. He's a 3-4 outside linebacker, currently ranked 98th on the Draft Network's consensus big board, which is a third round pick. And, this guy has the potential to be a true number 1 edge rusher, and you can get him at a third round value. So that's why he's on this list. He's a really good athlete, moves really well, has really good bend. As a pass rusher, he's, the finesse, the pass rushing moves, I really wanted to see more in terms of finesse. Because, after his freshman year, just based on how good he is physically, people were saying this guy's probably going to be a first-round draft pick, top 15 draft pick. He's supposed to be up where the Thibodeaux and the Walkers and the Jermaine Johnsons of the world are right now. But, Jackson's down mostly in third rounds right now in most big boards. So, not a whole lot of growth during his college career. He only has a couple of moves, and that's kind of his bread and butter. But man, he brings value as a pass coverage as a 3-4 outside linebacker. He's gonna be a will. Okay, so he's gonna be a weak side linebacker in the NFL, no question. Functional strength isn't amazing, but man, the speed, the get off, his athleticism, he has the tools to be a potential number 1 outside linebacker type edge rusher in the NFL, and he's probably going to go in the third round. So I think he's going to be a real steal. And yeah, he has a chance to be a really good player. Number 4, we got Bo Melton, wide receiver out of Rutgers. Now, this guy might be the most slept on guy in the entire class, okay? He's currently ranked 173rd on the Draft Network's big board, which is barely a fifth round pick. That's literally the last pick of the fifth round. And man, when I turned on this guy's film, I was so surprised. When I was going down my list, at that point, you look at a lot of guys, day 3 guys, they're probably not going to be much, but, I look at Bo Melton at Rutgers, and man, he explodes out of his cuts. He's got really good long speed, good, reliable hands. He's got some ability, yards after the catch, he's a really good route runner too. He can do everything that Chris Olave does, just a little bit worse. Chris Olave is better than Bo Melton, sure, but Bo Melton's not that far from him. He's probably a true Z. He can probably play some slot for you. But people knock him for going to Rutgers, but he had offers from really big schools like Ohio State, Michigan. He just decided to go to Rutgers because that's where his family goes to school. Like, both his mom and his dad went to Rutgers, and that's just where he wanted to go to school. And obviously Rutgers, they don't have good quarterback play. They don't have good offensive line play. He didn't have a great platform to show his talent. I think he's going to be a huge steal in this draft class, and somebody's going to get a guy that can come in right away, play good ball, and just ball out here in his rookie year. He's going to be somebody that we look back on and we say, wow, that guy's really making an impact as probably a 4th or 5th round player. All right, number 5 here, we got Zion McCollum out of Sam Houston State, cornerback. All right, so he's currently ranked 113th on the Draft Network's consensus big board, which is a 4th round pick. And, this guy's going to go in the second round, the early second round, maybe late first. When it comes to RAS, relative athletic score, this guy is off the freaking charts. He has an elite physical profile that I don't think I've ever seen. The size, the length, the speed, agility. He's elite in all these things. The 40 time, the 3 cone, his arm length. He's got all the things that you look for in a number 1 NFL cornerback. Press man, can play in zone, can play man. He played every single coverage in the book at Sam Houston State. Now, he went to a really small school. he didn't get a lot of national coverage. Not a lot of people know his name. And he's still, a bit unrefined in his technique. He needs to get better, matching receivers. He needs to get a little bit better with his zone instincts. But, it's not bad. And, this is the kind of stuff that NFL coaches can get out of people. I just can't imagine any NFL level cornerback coach looking at this guy's film and saying, I can't do anything with that. It just pops off the film, man. This guy is going to be one heck of a player if he turns out. And a team to look out for, I think, is the Houston Texans early in the second round, because they know that they're probably a couple years away. They can let him develop in Lovie Smith's cover 2 defense, which is pretty easy on corners. Zion McCollum has a really good chance, I think, to be a number 1 type guy, but because he's still a bit unrefined and we haven't really seen him put it all together, he's probably going to be a late first or early second round pick. All right, now it's time for my favorite tight end in this entire draft class, Charlie Kolar out of Iowa State. He is somehow ranked the 170th player on the consensus draft board of the Draft Network, and which is a 5th round pick. And man, I really don't understand what these people are seeing on his film, because to me he looks like Travis Kelce. He's 6'5.5", runs great routes, amazing hands, 50-50 balls. No linebacker is wrestling it from this guy. And it's just, he's absolutely worthless as a run defender, and I think that's why they have him that low. And so, there's going to be some teams that completely take him off their boards because they run offenses where they need the tight end to run block. But, offenses that like to, split their tight ends out wide, in the slot, away from the line of scrimmage, and really use them as offensive weapons, they're going to take advantage of this guy's talent all day long. And, Travis Kelce's always probably going to be a better run blocker than this guy, but from a pure receiving standpoint, Charlie Kolar has a chance to be something really special. And it's probably not going to take super long for him to be productive in the NFL as well, especially if he goes to a team with the right fit. So, Charlie Kolar, probably going to be a 5th round pick. Tight end class, it's not great this year, so maybe there'll be a team that falls in love with him, take him in the 3rd or maybe the late 2nd, but I think this guy has a chance to be a real steal for whoever takes him. All right, number 7 here, Troy Anderson from Montana State. Now, this guy's one of my favorite prospects in the entire draft. He's ranked 87th on the consensus big board, which is 3rd round. So, that's not crazy for a linebacker. So you might be saying, how's this guy a sleeper? But, this guy has a chance to be a real difference maker at the NFL level. He's an incredible athlete. He was a running back for most of his time at Montana State. Ran with a lot of power. This guy can blast people. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, he can move from side to side. He can be a very versatile chess piece for defenses that like to move guys around. Disguise coverages a lot. This guy has the athleticism and the power to do a lot of things on the football field. And because of that, he kind of reminds me of Isaiah Simmons coming out. I think Isaiah Simmons was a better player, but Troy Anderson has a lot of the same physical gifts that Isaiah Simmons had. Now, Isaiah Simmons hasn't been a great pro yet. They had, in Arizona, they haven't really been able to figure out the best way to use him yet, because he's kind of a jack of all trades but a master of none. But with Troy Anderson, if he finds a defensive coordinator that knows how to use him in the right way and can teach him how to play technically sound and fill his gaps in the run game and do all these things that you need NFL linebackers to do, the sky is the limit for this guy, and you can probably get him in the 3rd round. So absolutely worth the value there, and he's definitely deserves to be on this list. Number 8 here, I have Jerome Ford, running back out of Cincinnati. He's currently ranked 118th overall on the consensus big board, which is a 4th-round pick. But when I look at this guy, it's actually a very good running back class, by the way. I think that there's maybe 10 guys that can make an impact right away. So, this guy's ranked as a 4th-rounder, and he'll probably end up going in the 4th round just because there's so much running back talent out there this year. But, when I look at Jerome Ford, I see everything that Breece Hall does from Iowa State, who's currently mocked to go to the Buffalo Bills in the 1st round in a lot of mock drafts right now. Only Jerome Ford is a bit more physical. I think he can be a more effective power rusher than Breece Hall can. Now, both guys are really good. I like Breece Hall a lot. Both guys can catch the ball out of the backfield. Both guys, they're very explosive in their cuts and in their jukes. They both have good eyes. They both have good feet. But, Jerome Ford is my 2nd ranked running back in this entire class, and it's a very strong running back class. Only person above him is Kenneth Walker. But Jerome Ford, man, he can do it all. He's going to, I think, as a 4th-round pick, potentially a 5th-round pick, just because of how deep this running back class is. Jerome is going to be able to go into an NFL locker room right away, and, he's going to have a chance to earn a starting spot right away and be a 3-down back right away. He can be a real sleeper in fantasy leagues, I think. This is the guy that no one's really talked about, I think, but I think has a really great chance to make a big impact year 1. So Jerome Ford is my number 8 sleeper. Number 9 sleeper is going to be Zach Tom, offensive tackle or just offensive lineman out of Wake Forest. He's currently ranked 166 on the consensus big board, which is a 5th-round pick. But what intrigues me about Zach Tom is that he can play all 5 offensive line positions at the NFL level, I think, and survive. Can't say that about a lot of people. I'm not sure he's going to be, he has the potential to be a legit left tackle in this league. I would say that, especially with a zone run team, he could potentially be that kind of guy. And you can get him in 4th, 5th round. He's just so versatile, and teams are looking for versatile offensive linemen now. I think he's probably going to go in this 3rd or maybe the late 2nd. He's probably going to be jumping up draft boards, in terms of actual NFL team draft boards, because NFL teams love guys that can go from center to guard to tackle. And they don't come around very often. And this guy is very technically sound, plays with good balance, plays with good technique. He's not physically imposing like an Ike Ekwonu or anyone like that, but this guy's just going to be a solid pro that's going to stick on a roster, and he has a good chance to be a starter and be able to move along the offensive line and play with good technique. That kind of player is completely, the kind of value that brings to a team is crazy. So, to me, he's going to be probably a late 2nd, 3rd round pick. He'd probably be a day 2 pick, even though he's projected to be a 3rd day pick here. But Zach Tom is definitely one of my guys in this draft class. All right, last guy here, Kyle Phillips, slot receiver out of Virginia Tech. He's currently ranked 105th on the Draft Network's big board, which is a 3rd round value. To me, he's the best pure slot guy in this draft class, in terms of someone that has to just play in the slot. He's not going to survive at Z. He's not fast enough. He's not going to survive at X. I just don't think he can beat press coverage. But in the slot, he's very shifty, runs great routes. He finishes runs after the catch. He's very physical. He's a good run blocker. And, he reminds me a lot of Hunter Renfrow. And I think Kyle Phillips might be slightly quicker than Hunter Renfrow. Now, Hunter Renfrow is one of the best route runners in the entire NFL, so Kyle Phillips is probably entering the league a bit behind Renfrow. But NFL offenses are running so much 11 personnel right now, where they have 3 receivers on the field, and having a really good slot guy, it's as valuable as it's ever been in the NFL. And Kyle Phillips is going to be that guy. There's a lot of guys in this draft class that are a bit smaller slot players that aren't as valuable in the run game. Kyle Phillips is a bigger slot guy. It's going to be able to give you value in the red zone. He's going to be able to give you value in the run game. This guy is a very, very good player, and he's an immediate day one impact kind of guy. And right now he's being valued at a third round value, but I really think he's going to be a day two or a second round pick. Somebody's going to fall in love with him. Someone's going to see a quicker version of Hunter Renfrow on tape, and they're gonna jump at the chance to take him, especially with all these slot guys in this year's draft class that are a bit smaller. So at the Senior Bowl, Kyle Phillips absolutely dominated the one-on-ones. No one could cover him, so he's going to be a guy that can come in right away and provide some value to your offense, and that's why he's one of my guys. That's it for this video. Top 10 draft sleepers, the guys that I really think that you can get on day 2 or day 3, and you can probably get really good production out of them, potential star players, just guys that I really like in this draft class based on what I've seen on film. And this is the first video in a line of a couple videos that will be coming up here during draft week. Next week I've got my QB rankings, my official ones, my last ones. I'll be doing a video on that, and then I'll also be doing my mock draft for next week as well. My predictive mock draft, I'll be doing a YouTube video on that. And then, I'll think about doing another mock draft where I would do what I would do. But, we'll see on that. We'll see how editing goes. And I just want to thank everyone out there for all the support. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys next time.